with us on Facebook. We are dual streaming this right now.
Yeah,
so you can catch us on both. Do that.
Try and hit as many people as we can right now. Because, you know, times are crazy. Times are crazy. Livingston, man, can you turn the red light down maybe just a touch? I'm looking pretty... Am I looking really purple to you guys on YouTube?
You look a little purple.
I do look a little purple.
Where's that weird digital controller thing? Hold on, I got this dashboard. We can do it from here.
Livingston,
Keep talking.
He's got all the tools. All the tools. Let's see. Doug wants to know what we're going to learn today. We're going to learn a little bit today. Hopefully we learn something. I'm going to share some knowledge that I've learned through the years. And hopefully it's going to help you guys out. Thanks, Terry. There we go.
Maybe a little much.
Wow.
Let's.
Wow. Can you just tone it down just a touch?
Sorry.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Not bad. It looks pretty good on my end. What do you guys think?
Is our color correction scheme acceptable?
Could you refresh that for me?
Good God.
I know. I got so much for him to do.
Refresh it.
Hey, non-weaponized preparedness. How are you?
Oh,
there we go. Yeah. Okay. All right. Everything's working.
Do you want a keyboard and mouse too?
Everything's working. No, I'm just looking at two different chats here, and it's really interesting.
You want me to get off because this will bug you because it's
bugging me out a little bit. Yeah. So, y'all know what's going on. Things are crazy, guys. The world has lost its damn mind.
The Eastern world is exploding.
Yes, correct. Mike is always messing around. But it's time to get serious here for a little bit. So, you know, my main concern is everybody being prepared and having a plan. That's my main concern. The Livingston man and I are going to go through the current events and the know as of right now. And we're going to compare some things. There's a lot of misinformation going around, guys. There's a lot of propaganda. Like a lot of propaganda. Some of the big sensational stories that you hear, you know, the guys on the island screaming "fuck you" to the Russian warship. It's fake. The ghost of Kiev, more than likely fake. The former Miss Ukraine joining the military, fake. There's so much propaganda right now, guys, and a lot of misinformation and disinformation. And it sucks. It sucks. It's so hard for us to sift through and know what's real. It really is. And it's very frustrating. And it's hard not to get wrapped up in these headlines and, you know, kind of go off the deep end. So it's best for us to just chill and prepare as much as possible. If you guys are looking for the fear porn, New York Prepper. He's got everything you want. He's covering this subject top to bottom. He's been on top of it for months. He's been saying this was going to happen. And sure enough, here we are. John Russo, how are you? Thanks for stopping by.
Let's see, on Facebook, we got Terry Arthurs. Hello, Terry.
Yeah, we got
There's other people, but if I touch
watchers
the
on
screen,
Facebook.
it'll probably fuck it up.
Yeah. Yeah, hey,
listen,
everybody.
4 of you, I love you wherever you are, Terry. And, chime in your name so I can see who you are.
Yeah, I see Brian's with us, Terry's with us, Billy's with us on Facebook.
Listen, don't mind if you watch us on Facebook and YouTube.
Mama Red, how are you? Yeah, we got to remember which kid. We got Facebook here, YouTube here.
Yeah, don't forget you got to refer to each one once in a while so they think you care about them.
I do care about you.
You're on all the channels, dude.
So, Livingston, man, what are the headlines for this evening? Let's get your 5:30 news on here, folks, shall we?
All right, so I have gone ahead. You know, I'll go to top stories. I went to Google News. This is top stories. I'm your average internet citizen. This is what I got. At the very top, of course, Russia war live updates and video from the New York Times. Now, if I click on that, I'm going to get hit with a paywall. The New York Times is jerks.
Yeah, they want you.
Democracy dies in darkness behind a paywall, you jerks.
William Alexander says the Livingston man is more than a pretty face. He's a musician too.
Thank you.
That's very true.
Most people don't actually know me as
he's a man of many talents, that Livingston man.
Appreciate all your love. So number one thing probably got everybody all pissed off. Putin puts. See, here's the paywall. Fucking Washington Post. I have Amazon Prime, you asshole. Well, anyway, what I can read from behind this bullshit
Yeah.
is Putin puts nuclear forces on alert.
Yeah, high alert.
As the EU moves to restrict the airspace. And now I can't. Fuck you.
It's not going to go well.
Asshole, how do I get out of here?
Back.
Oh, God.
Hit the
Okay,
back
yep,
button.
I did it. I found
Okay.
it. Now, is there any free fucking news out there?
I
Here we
agree,
go.
Terry. Putin does have balls of steel.
All right, we're back to what I'm trying to talk about. Putin activating the fucking nuclear force here. Where I'm back. I'm on CNN. Sorry.
Oh, he said those bad 3 letters.
Blah 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 blah. There's Brandon. What's up, buddy? Look at that. Wow. Okay. Oh my God. See. All right. Now I'm going to point out right away that what is happening is what Mike said is too much information.
Yep, the information fog.
It's like maybe you feel this way too. Is perhaps like overwhelmed by the situation. You don't really even know why you feel the way whatever you feel about it, and that's a real thing. And that's called they call it crisis exhaustion. You feel helpless. You want to do something. You feel things, but you can't really do anything about it. But you're just immersing yourself in this never-ending story that's just constantly updating stuff. And what you gotta do is stop.
Yep. Just unplug from it for a little while, guys.
Today I put my crap down and I just went and played my guitar for like 2 hours, and now I'm back out in my bullshit, but still it helped. Like you just kind of get way overwhelmed in stuff that is, on the one hand it matters to you, but on the other hand it like doesn't actually matter to you, you know?
Not yet anyway, not yet. You know, this whole thing hasn't really come home yet. We may see a little bit in the rise of gas prices right now.
Okay, here we go. Now, or getting closer. Sorry, what it's got me.
Hey, Lady Easton, how are you?
So the news is being structured in things like this. When they call this a fluid situation, the story will be updated.
Yeah, everything's constantly evolving.
I'm scrolling
guys.
from like the top down here, trying to get back.
Yeah, it was 6 hours. 6 hours.
God, Jesus.
7
okay, here we
hours.
go. Nope, close. Come on, show me the part where this asshole put his shit on notice. Anyway, so
He's digging in the crates.
To
Half-breed Chuck, how are you?
summarize, Vladimir Putin has put his country's nuclear deterrent forces on high alert in response to what he called violent rhetoric from European countries and countries otherwise not friends of Russia, which sounds alarming, but it's not exactly like a thing that's not standard. Here we are, finally. From CNN, Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered his country's deterrence forces, which includes nuclear arms, be placed on high alert.
Right. So it's not specifically just his nuclear deterrent forces, it's all of his deterrent forces, including the nuclear option.
Citing the Russian Ministry of Defense, the state news agency RIA Novosti, the strategic forces are designed to deter aggression against Russia and its allies, as well as to defeat the aggressor, including in a war with the use of nuclear weapons. So you kind of got like an all-encompassing, like a civil defense thing here.
Hey, Lori, how are you?
It's akin to the United States Defcon system, I would assume.
Okay. So they basically beefed up their readiness. Now, through the grapevine, we've heard that if we invaded Ukraine, or if Russia invaded Ukraine, that our DEFCON level would go to 2, which I believe is the cocked pistol, they call it.
Let's find out. We're going to see.
Livingston Man's on it.
What is DEFCON? We're answering all the questions here. Now, I know it stands for defense condition. DEFCON, here we go. The defense readiness condition is an alert state, this is from Wikipedia, is an alert state used by the United States Armed Forces. It prescribes 5 graduated levels of readiness, or states of alert, for the U.S. military, and increases in severity from DEFCON 5, least severe, to DEFCON 1, most severe, with DEFCON 1 signaling the outbreak of nuclear warfare. Yes, so Mike was correct. DEFCON 1 is cocked pistol.
Okay.
Nuclear war is imminent, has already begun.
That's 1. Now, they said that we moved up to level 2.
Is that true?
Which is fast pace. So they said that we would move to that level if Russia invaded Ukraine, and it's happened.
What that means is its description is next step to nuclear war. Armed forces ready to deploy and engage in less than 6 hours.
Yeah, so that's I don't think we're quite there yet, guys. I think we're still hanging around Defcon 3, which is, Air Force is ready to take off in 15 minutes. So
they instituted Defcon 3 for the September 11th attacks. Operation Paul Bunyan. Now, maybe you Korean War era gentlemen, a little later, the 70s, when Operation Paul Bunyan was, they sent a mission of soldiers into the DMZ to cut this tree down. They couldn't see from their observatories through this tree, so they sent these guys out to cut it down. The North Koreans came out and attacked these dudes. Actually, I believe they killed a couple of them, and it was like a big, huge incident. The United States went to DEFCON 3 over this, was going to fuck shit up over a tree. And then after on, they put out a huge construction detail with like tanks and guys with chainsaws and axes and shit, and went out and like in force like cut this tree down.
Well, you got to send the whole army to cut a tree down.
They cocked nuclear guns to cut a tree down. That's fucking real. That happened. So if we're at DEFCON 3 now, we're somewhere between 9/11 and cutting a tree down.
Yeah.
DEFCON 2. The last time was the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Well, the last time was the Persian Gulf War.
In the opening phase, just because they probably decided.
Hey, Sunset, how are you? Lady Easton wants to know, what is a good site to see what the actual current DEFCON level is? Now, that is a great question, because that is something that changes depending upon where you are in the country, depending upon what military unit you're in.
I'm sure it does. I think what she probably means is like the national level.
Yeah, the national level.
Okay, that's not what I want to know. This is not a hacking conference.
No.
What is the? Let's try that.
What is the DEFCON level today? There it is,
Hey,
right
there. We go.
All right, let's see.
The current DEFCON overall level is DEFCON 3.
Yeah, raised.
As there is a raised CENTCOM due for what?
Oh, this is very old. That's old information.
2022 DEFCONlevel.com.
Yeah, DEFCONlevel.com. They have us at DEFCON 2 right now. But who knows? There's also raised CENTCOM. Okay, Livingston Man, why don't you give us what this is? This is from DEFCONlevel.com.
Okay. There is a raised CENTCOM due to rocket attacks against U.S. bases and airstrikes carried out by the U.S. military, apparently in general.
Okay.
And a raised EUCOM, which would mean
European Command,
level
right?
due, yes. So Central Command, European Command, and African Command. Okay, now I'm understanding this.
Okay, so this seems like it's old information. Because this is... I
don't understand. Well, no, this is 10:42 p.m. UTC.
So it says overall current...
today, 2. There's no... Where's this information coming
Interesting,
from?
yeah.
Blah, 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 bunch of crap. Again,
well, he's got quite a bit of information on here, but I don't know how accurate his DEFCON level is. What exactly... rabbit hole did you go down, Livingston?
Yeah, I think they tricked me. See, I just lost my customership, you bastard. Keep us on track while I get fucked by these guys.
Hey, Deacon, how are you?
Apparently, all right, what's our current DEFCON level? It says here it's 4. Military Mortgage Center?
No.
Where are these sources coming from? Do you know what I'm asking you?
So the...
All right, so yeah,
the DEFCON level is definitely set by the military. I would imagine that the Joint Chiefs set all that. Hey, Outlaw, how are you? So
Europe and Canada are closing the skies to Russian planes.
Europe and Canada. Let's dive into that, because I want to see what they have to say.
All right, this is from Reuters.
Okay, this was 35 minutes ago.
European nations and Canada moved on Sunday to shut their airspace to Russian aircraft, a unprecedented step aimed at pressuring President Vladimir Putin to end his invasion of Ukraine, the biggest attack on a European state since World War II. This is another thing they keep parroting. Aeroflot said it would cancel all flights to European destinations after EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell said the European Union had decided to close its airspace.
Hey, Debbie, how are you?
The United States is mulling similar action, but has yet to make a decision.
So basically, they're going to close the skies to commercial air traffic from Russia. This is all of Europe, guys. So that's going to put immense pressure on Russia because now their citizens can't even leave.
Germany, Spain, France joined Britain, the Nordic countries, and the Baltic states in declaring bans on Russian use of their airspace. They also unveiled, of course, sweeping new financial sanctions, which has called its assault on Russia, which has called its assault on Ukraine a special operation to capture neo-Nazis, who Putin says threaten Russia's security.
Wow.
A charge Kiev and Western governments say is baseless propaganda.
So, again, with the information and misinformation fog, there's a lot of it going on right now, guys. A whole lot of it.
I'd heard a lot about, like, maybe perhaps the Ukrainian government was corrupt and maybe not the most greatest thing coming down the pike. The neo-Nazi genocidal thing with a Jewish president.
That's tough.
It really's got my
tough
head
sell, in my opinion.
Listen.
Lucky Dame says the Defcon level is not made public. I'd agree.
That's very cool.
That's something that they keep under wraps, guys. They don't let the cat out of the bag that easy. Although, with Joe Biden, you never know what he's going to say.
Well, it could cause panic, and otherwise,
Yep.
of our business anyway. It has nothing really to do with how we work. Oh, look, that's that video of that fucking rocket hitting that
Apartment complex.
Dope, they had a camera right there.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool. Like, that guy was like, lucky shot. Man.
There is...
I often put my doorbell on the balcony. People show up.
So, we see everything that's going on. Hey, roaming prepper, how are you? So we see everything that's going on in the world around us. And the best thing that we can do is prepare. And prepare the best way we know how. Get your food in order, get your house in order, get your gear in order. Make sure your gas tanks are topped off, guys. If we do get hit with some big cyber attack from Russia and the lights do go out, who knows when they'll come back on, or if they come back on.
Some big news now. Green Day has canceled their Moscow concert over Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
That's it. World War III has started. Green Day's backing out of concerts.
Okay, now here we go. Now some people have been wondering, what are they distracting us from? Why are we looking over here and what's over here? Here's a couple. Fence reinstalled around Capitol building ahead of Biden's State of the Union address.
So that's another point I want to bring up. I actually had a conversation with Outlaw this afternoon about this, the timing of things and how convenient it is that the State of the Union address is on Taco Tuesday coming up in just 2 days. So that's the one time that our government completely assembles. All of our heads of everything is there, except for one person who they have as the designated survivor. And he's shipped off to some bunker someplace where he hides out and waits for this, thing to roll over. Then they can all go back to life as they know it. But if somebody was to strike us, that's why we have the designated survivor, so that the government could continue and retaliate. Now, I think it's awful interesting that all of these people are going to get together during this time. And if they cancel an event like this, that's kind of a red flag, guys. That means shit is really real.
They won't cancel it. They're going to put up a fence, like I said.
Well, fences are cool, and that's going to stop people from getting in. But
this is a symbolic fence. This is the same fence that remained around the Capitol for months after.
Oh, the exact same fence.
January 6th, Justice for J6 rally.
Fantastic. So something to think about, guys.
And then there's like these truckers coming too. These guys are funny.
Yeah, the truckers are headed there, and exactly, roaming prepper. That's a scary thought.
Its mask mandate for schools.
Fantastic, freedom for the children. Finally.
And then once you start reading into the U.S. news, like there's some, shit that everybody read about at the top. But what I have been straight noticing is there's fucking people shooting each other out here.
Oh yeah, the violence has escalated here in New York State across the board.
Just all over the country. Look, everywhere you look, it's gonna be shot guys. They look shots.
Yep. hookah lounge in Vegas, huh?
Shot dead, fucking everything. Damn, like.
Yeah, people are losing their minds on a regular basis.
So with Ukraine, we get this great story of unifying hope. Like it's bringing us all together, or in some places, it's.
Yep.
There's a little bit of division. Anybody that dares to even suggest Putin has a brain in his head is like, you're a fucking asshole. It's not exactly cool, man. It's. I question what's going on with this whole thing. It seems weird to me. Somebody's intelligence has been off here, and I don't know who's, because I expected that Ukraine wouldn't exist like after about 8 to 10 hours, that the great Russian steamroller would just blow it away.
Black Apple, I agree.
Iron Curtain done, like we don't, but instead, like they're getting slowed down, like they act like they're fucking this up, like they don't know what they're doing. Like what on earth is actually happening over here? Like we're used to seeing American firepower going and fuck shit up. So this is a little bit maybe underwhelming to us, but actually this is what like the rest of the world has compared to what we have. Like we're literally the only country that can actually do shock and awe the way you saw it.
Yep.
Nobody else does that. You're seeing the European version of it here. And if you're not, it's weird.
Yeah.
That Russia would fuck around and waste time and bog themselves down like this. So either they're not the huge big bad like wow the Russian bear is a little bitch these days, or like they're waiting for something and they got a trick up their sleeve. I don't know. Like
yeah,
it doesn't make sense. It's a superpower. The United States had to fuck the Ukraine twice and left already. Well, actually would have stuck around for 20 years and then ran and left all the guns behind. Maybe Russia will do that for the Ukrainians.
We'll see, man. It gets crazier every day. You know, I've seen videos of the Russian soldiers who were captured, and they seem to have no clue that they were going to war. They all thought this was a training exercise and everything was going to be hunky-dory and they would be home in no time.
They seem to be surprised the Ukrainians would resist them.
Well, yeah, they were actually surprised they were getting shot at.
Like,
Apparently,
what were they told before
a lot
they
of
went
them,
in there?
I don't know, but I know it said that a lot of them, they all had the same statement prepared, basically. And that could totally be a ruse. That could totally be a trick or a tactic that they have up their sleeve to, you know, kind of make everybody think that they don't know what they're doing when they really know what they're doing. So you have to appear weak when you're strong, guys. So
I don't see the point. They're already like 190,000, we're told, troops, and like it's Russia. Like, where's their air force? Like, what are they doing? Is my just biggest question. I'm not coming out for them. I'm not like you need to hurry up and beat Ukraine's ass, but I'm like I thought you would. I really thought you'd hurry up and like beat Ukraine's ass. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck is going on over there? And then you watch anybody, you guys go on, open a second window of YouTube, look for live stream of Kiev or something like this, or Melitopol or anything like a live stream from the Ukraine. And I mean, unless their shit changing, their shit going crazy right now. I've been watching these things and it's like there's people in the streets and cars and the lights are on and shit.
Looks like people are going to work, man. I'm surprised that the infrastructure is still up. Like really surprised they still have power and water and in most places.
No, they're trying to be real smart. Maybe this is like a you break it, you bought it situation. If they intend to keep the country, you don't want to destroy it. But if in doing that, if they don't break the Ukrainian spirit, they're going to have to destroy them to keep the country.
Yeah, I mean they're just
going to have a Vietnamistan on their hands.
If they do take the country over by force, it's going to be terrible, guys. Absolutely terrible. And those people will torture the Russian military until they leave. You can guarantee that will happen. The insurgency will be there forever because I don't think they will ever take the hearts and minds of these people, given the circumstances of the way things went down.
No, and how could they? And is that what and again, for a person who is supposed to be this shrewd businessman, he thinks of everything and he's, ruthless, fucking cunning, fucking snapping turtle that he is, Vladimir Putin. They didn't think of this? Like, was he that arrogant? Is that what's gonna undo him?
I worry about the wild card that is China in this situation. I also worry about Pakistan and North Korea firing things off today, guys. you can see World War III kind of shaping itself. All these different nations. It's
If they all make their move at once, China runs for Taiwan.
It would be crazy.
Russia, and maybe they've made a deal. This wasn't unheard of back in the World War II days to make what they called secret clauses to treaties.
Yeah.
Where only the people that signed it actually knew what was in it. And, like, well, for one, the Germans and the Russians signed one to carve up Poland, which was one of the most infamous of them all. But the Russians were especially famous for loving to have these secret clauses in treaties. Who's to say? Russia, China, and North Korea don't have a little axis of evil going on.
Yeah, it's very true.
They're all going to make the move at once. Imagine this. Maybe they're not exactly allied or fighting together, but Russia's booming up the Ukraine.
Yep.
China's fucking takes a hit at Taiwan.
Yep.
North Korea takes a swing at South Korea, all at once, and overwhelm like this sort of international.
And then Iran
response.
hits Israel at the same time. I mean,
the
could be worst
effect.
case scenario, guys. How could you possibly respond to all those fronts at once?
It's World War without being the kind like we're told the story of from legend, you know.
Spread everybody thin like that.
Allies versus fucking Axis and this and that more. It's just a bunch of motherfuckers all doing it at once, like with no real coordination, but you can't control it.
So Prepper Now, I watched one of his videos earlier today. If you don't know Prepper Now, you absolutely should. He's got a great channel and some great videos. And he brought up the fact that...
Thanks for sticking with us, Brian.
Much appreciated.
Oh, psych.
So, yeah, the Facebook viewership is up, it's down.
Oh, wait, there's two now. Who's this?
That's okay.
Hey, we got chicks in the shit now.
But India is a wild card, correct, Kevin?
India?
Yeah, India is a superpower.
Now,
and they know it.
Well, they are not yet, but they're fucking so on the cusp. And a huge economy. Yep. And they're right there. They kind of have choice of who they
want to deal with.
Right, a real super competitive developing market.
Absolutely.
And all these countries are going to be in there like record agents trying to get India to sign the contract and be a friend, you know. India doesn't have to sign with anybody. They'll get mad benefits from sitting back and not making a decision. So you're going to see India kind of stay on the fence about a lot of things for the time being. But they're also a nuclear armed state too, so they kind of got
to watch them. So I think the best bet for us is to prepare, guys. Prepare as much as possible, and to really look at our preparedness, to really look at our plans. And I've got a couple things I want to go over with you guys tonight before we get out of here and give you guys your lives back, because you're hanging out with us tonight. Appreciate you being here on a Sunday night with us.
Here's the boring part.
The boring part. All right.
I'm gonna keep fucking with you about it.
I love it. I love it. But
Mike
this
seems
is the
to
important
think
stuff.
like Red Dawn's about to happen. So
well, this is a just in case. Just in case. It's always good to have a plan, and it's always good to have a few plans. It's always good to, hey Marilyn, how are you? You're worried about China, more worried about China than Russia. I agree. Wild cards. Wild cards. So one thing that everybody needs is maps. You need real hard copy maps, and you need to make them. This one isn't, but you need to make them weatherproof.
Laminator. So everybody knows
if you
somebody.
Can laminate it.
Everybody knows a school teacher. Maybe she could do some resistance shit for you.
Yep. So you're gonna want hard copy maps of your area. Something that I've done with my local friends and family is I've established some rally points.
Welcome back, Brian.
I use those with, you measure out your map on your key, you find your radius, how far you're willing to travel. Mine is 4.5 miles. So I make a 9-mile circle, and I would have to walk 4.5 miles to get to anyone that would potentially overlap in a circle.
You're gonna walk 9 miles.
No, I should only have to walk 4.5 from the center out. So hopefully I can meet somebody in there. The guys in the city, it's going to be a lot easier for you because you're not going to have to travel as far. You may have a 1-mile circle and have all your friends right inside that circle. So it all depends upon your map legend and your key, how big your circle is going to be, and go with something you're comfortable with. Roaming Prepper, have a great night. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here, brother.
We were just getting to the good part, but okay.
Roaming prepper is squared away.
He's got to go roam. I get it.
He's
got to go roam.
He's a great guy. Spray the Mac.
Outlaw Jackson, what's up, man?
Spray.
I didn't want to like fist fight you. I didn't know you were talking about Ukraine and Texas. I just saw a lot of other people doing it. But then he called me out on Facebook and he was like, I'd love to discuss it with you. And I was like, or we could fist fight about it. I was like, shit.
I know Outlaw Jackson is much like Vladimir Putin in that he would go toe-to-toe with just about anyone.
He's unfuckwithable.
True story. True story. Hey, Tammy, how are you?
Some people perhaps were under the impression that I didn't know that Ukraine used to be a part of Russia, to which I'm like,
yeah,
thanks.
Knew about it.
Thanks for your vote of confidence there. But back on, Mike wants to talk about prepping and survival, but I thought I would just address Jody that I don't exactly want to...
Directly.
I don't want to fist fight him.
No, I wouldn't want to tango with the outlaw. It's kind of just
not really on the table. If he wants to meet up in Belarus or something and have a
hey, Heather, how are you?
Peace summit.
Yeah, in Belarus?
Yeah.
Okay.
A neutral territory.
Very good. Very good. So yeah, guys, maps. Have maps of your local area, satellite maps, topo maps, and road maps. Road maps are really important because, as we've seen, they can kind of take the signs down. As
and they replace them with shit that says like "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah. There's some guerrilla tactics going on in the Ukraine right now, and we can learn a lot from watching this, guys. It's a crazy world, and it's getting crazier by the day. So if we can learn from this, it's not terrible for us. In addition to having area maps, download as well, print predetermined routes via Google Maps. For example, point A home to point B bug out rendezvous spot. Correct. AAA will send paper maps upon request. That's really great to know, Sunset. Great advice, Mantis. Appreciate it. Yes, you want all the maps you can get. You want them weatherproof. You want them in your bug out bag.
Roll them.
Yeah.
Don't fold them. Once you unfold it, fucking forget it.
Yeah, they're creased, and then they break faster.
And you can put a little ribbon on it or whatever the hell that labels what it is. And
Dylan says, if the bombs go off, do we all rendezvous at the Hornet's Nest? That's a big negative.
Yeah, they're going to hit the Hornet's Nest first.
Yeah, I don't know that the owner of the Hornet's Nest will be accepting refugees.
That's what you'll be if you leave your house with all your stuff on your back and you're just out roaming the fucking wild, dude. You are essentially, in the eyes of everyone but yourself, a refugee.
Correct. And that brings me to another point. Even with the maps, have a place to go, guys. Make some friends, make some family, Airbnb far away. You know, whatever you have to do.
Abandoned buildings, whatever.
To get out.
Willem Alexander's going to be here in an hour.
Yes.
We'll see you then.
I don't know that I'll be there, but Coach Doug says you need to be familiar with your area. You can have all the maps in the world, but if you're a regular Joe, you will get lost and caught up with the overgrowth. I agree.
True. Especially around here, if you don't know how to read maps.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky.
Can I tell a story?
Absolutely.
All right, so me and my buddy went to I was ready. Me and my buddy, Anchorman, matter of fact, the Viking, Shane Edwards' father.
Ah, very good. Very good.
We went
Shane's
to
dad.
the Racket Lake area of the Adirondacks.
Okay.
Sort of like near Old Forge and Eagle Bay.
Yep.
Anybody? So we're gonna take the trail that the DEC cut. And it got like they went into like a point and then they stopped cutting and maintaining the trail. But so my GPS said that there was a trail there, so we followed it. Got to the shore of the lake right where we wanted to go via GPS. And then it started to get dark. And we knew that we wouldn't be able to make it back to camp by dark if we took the way that we came, which was the trail.
Right.
So when we looked at the map, what we saw was like lots of steep hills, yes, but in between them lots of flat, like fields is what the map seemed to indicate.
Right.
So we climb up and down these godforsaken fucking hills in the Adirondacks. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Get to the bottom where there's supposed to be like a field, and what it though is a bog. And and with water, up to your ass, which I found out the easy way by falling right in it.
Nice.
And this continued over and over again because we were mistaking what we were seeing on the black and white GPS screen. So don't trust those things too much either unless you know what you're looking at. And the Boy Scouts always said, don't go off the trail. That's why.
Exactly. And like Coach Doug said, know your area. Go someplace you're familiar with. What's up, Chrisman? How are you?
Animals make the best trails. They went the easy way. When you need to go somewhere, go the way they went. That's
Correct.
The way.
Correct. Have an evacuation plan, guys. Have one in every single direction, north, south, east, and west. Even if you're not planning on going that way, plan an exit strategy that way. A lot of us don't account for things like chemical plants and stuff like that are hiding in your area. So when the power goes down, sometimes those places can be pretty dangerous. So if the event of a grid down, you want to have a plan to get out in every single direction. Like I said, even if you're not planning on going that way, you may have to go the long way around just to stay away from some really, really bad hazards, guys. So think about that stuff ahead of time.
The more, I'm going to use the word mainstream, more mainstream a means of getting somewhere is, the more people are going to choke it out. You're
Correct.
not using the fucking interstates. You're not using the parkway. You're not using like major roads.
Yeah.
Fucking forget it.
Yeah, you better know your back roads.
Everybody and their brother and their brother's mother is clogging up the roads, and just it's back to know your area.
Yep.
Side streets, back ways. I know how to get there without taking the main roads. All us drug addicts and drunks, we already know how to do that shit.
So
one up on them.
That's a big one, guys. That's a big one. Is multiple routes. Plan rally points with your people. Get a comms plan together. That's another huge thing. Even if you guys just have walkie-talkies, guys, just basic, walkie-talkies, CBs.
Assume that like networks won't work.
Yeah.
FRS radios and stuff, they're point to point. So as long as nothing has happened to your radio,
it should still work in theory.
Cell phone assume like internet, cell phone towers, all that shit. Please don't rely on it working.
Yep. So any kind of comms plan is better than no comms plan, even if it's a shitty one. If you got cup and string and you can string it between you and your neighbor's house, it's all good. I used to be able to see a deer 6 miles away, Coach, but not so much anymore. These eyes are getting a little old now. So
if you are one of these people that intends to have to rely on your cell phone for these kind of things, Google Maps especially allows you to download what they call offline maps. So if you're in a shit place, your phone's GPS will still work, and if you download these offline maps, you can use them from your phone without having to connect to the network. If it's either a primary or backup, but if you intend to rely on your cell phone at all, you have to do that. Don't think you're going to get online. So if nothing else, back up stuff like that and make it physical on your device, or it's not going to work.
Yeah, I go the route of these guys.
That's physical in his pocket.
Because I don't.
The network can't bother that.
The phone that I'm talking to you guys on, it's digital, man. If I drop it and smash it, I'm screwed. I drop this thing all I want and just keep picking it back up again.
So. The more he reads it too, he can memorize it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Lady Smith, thank you so much for being here. Footwear on the rig comes to mind. Basic but vital.
You gotta have a good pair of shoes, because if you can't walk, well, you ain't walking.
Very true. Rally points, times, locations. Plan with your group trigger events. Something that will, Boating Fisher, dude, what's happening, buddy? How are you? Plan trigger events. If the grid fails, we're gonna meet up in 2 days at 2:00 at the church tower. And we're all going to get together there and discuss what we're going to do, how we move forward, what we've heard.
So you mean like a trigger event would be something...
Blackout.
You don't need... there's no communication necessary. It's not
Correct.
I better text people.
Correct.
This is an automatic contingency that happens.
Yes. So basically, you don't need to call. I don't need to call the Livingston man and say, "Hey, we got to go meet up at this place at this day at this time." It's already predetermined that if X, Y, or Z happens, we're going to meet 2 days after the event at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at this location. If you can predetermine those things, and people don't show up, you guys can go
Who's that
and
guy? Is that
make
Chris
sure.
right there? I think so, right?
Yep. Jason's
Wendy,
in there,
hello,
Terry's in
Wendy,
there,
Terry.
Wendy.
All four of you.
But contingency plans, contingency plans, contingency plans. Your local comms plan, evacuate in every direction. Let's see what I didn't cover. You need to look at your local area and define what you dub your inner and outer perimeters. It can be, your inner perimeter can be as close as a fence around your house. Your inner perimeter could be, the block down the road, and have a plan in place to get out of Dodge if you need to, if any danger enters those perimeters.
That's going to be different for everybody.
Yes.
Like if you live at the top of a hill or something, then probably your outer perimeter would be the bottom of it.
Correct.
I live in the middle of a giant fucking field. I got like neighbors and shit, so my outer perimeter might be something more, with like major roads around. My outer perimeter might be something like 5-10 miles away, just because I'm like subject to vehicle traffic, flat ground,
Yeah.
wide open.
Yep. As where I am, mine's a little smaller. If somebody entered the village that I lived in, I would consider that my outer perimeter. And then if they got close enough that they were on my block, I would call that my inner perimeter. And that would trigger two different things. William Alexander's got us on 2 cams right now. What's up, buddy? And what's up, buddy? Much appreciate you guys.
Camera 1, camera 2.
That's it. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. But that's a big thing I wanted to go over tonight, guys, is make sure you guys have a plan. It's
Talk to your
huge.
neighbors too, if you have them.
Yeah.
Either get cool with them or get understanding of them.
Jody says, know who to trust and who to hog tie.
See?
Very true.
Jody's
Very
hog tied
true.
me a couple times. Never fucking learned, do I?
At what point would you head to your buck against roadblocks set in place by local law enforcement or National Guard? I'm assuming he says, what point would we head to our bug out against roadblocks?
I think what he's saying is, would you either head to or be like against?
Right, roadblocks set in place. Well, I get everything is dependent upon the situation. In all honesty,
what is the situation? Because if it's getting invaded and they're handing out guns and shit, I'm heading that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without question. Now, if there's like a chemical attack and they're like, stay in your fucking house, I'll probably do that.
Yeah. Or they're trying to route you around danger. That's typically the case. DWI checkpoints and things like that. When there's national emergencies like that, usually they're just pointing you in a direction to go or telling you what the problem is ahead.
As an active citizen, what you do is pass that, check, point at fucking the Rip Van Winkle Bridge. You just put that out there so everybody knows.
Hey, SKM Keith, how are you? But yeah, guys, have a plan. Have multiple plans. And I talked a little bit about it today with the New York City Prepper Network. I was in a stream earlier with Angry Prepper and his New York City Prepper Network. And PACE planning, guys. It's a military acronym. It stands for Primary, Alternate, Contingency, and Emergency. And they typically use that for comms plans. But you can attribute that to anything, guys. Any kind of planning.
Break it down.
Any kind of planning. You break it down into primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency plans.
No, I'm telling you to break it down. P. What's this word? P.
P is your primary plan.
Tell me, what is that?
So my primary plan would be to stay home and organize the neighborhood. That's my primary SHTF plan, is to stay home and organize the neighborhood.
We don't need specifics, but I'm just
Pace, correct. Big chat, pace.
So A being alternate plan. Okay,
Yep.
Primary got fucked up.
Yep. So your primary goes to shit.
Plan
Now we're
B.
moving to the alternate plan.
Here's where we get fucking bullshit.
Is to organize my block. If I can't get the whole neighborhood, maybe I can at least get my immediate neighbors on board with some sort of plan. So that would be my alternate plan. My contingency plan would be to shut everybody out and stay home. And my emergency plan would be to bug out. So that would cover the whole pace plan. And then I would pace plan something for each of those. So it just keeps constantly breaking down, guys, so that when things go wrong, you already have this stuff thought about, and you don't have to waste time mulling over, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? When it's time to act, it's time to act, and you need to have those ideas in place ahead of time. So the more you can pace plan things, the better.
Now your primary is going to be the most unique, customized to you thing possible. There is no way you can watch a billion of videos of us and everybody else out there.
Yep, but my situation is not yours.
Right, it has got to be. It's like what you carry in your pockets on a daily basis. It's just as unique to you as it is to me. That's your decision to make. There is no right or wrong way to do it. It's about surviving.
Correct.
You're gonna fucking eat dead bodies. That's fine. Okay, you survived. You won. But the thing is, and after you get into like your alternate and your contingency is again one that's like not talked about. It's an automatic thing that happens. It's triggered by a certain set of circumstances. Then an emergency is when that has even gone to hell.
Yeah.
So start with your primary and really, really think about what's going to work for you. Try things, customize stuff.
Yep.
Mess with your gear, everything. You have to.
Yeah, and
my way is not your way. His way is not my way.
Correct.
Blah blah blah.
Drive your bug out routes, guys, and know the back roads off those bug out routes. Let's see. Gizmo's World says, "What do you do if you're in the middle of moving and don't know anyone in the new town?"
Keep moving.
Well, if you have just moved yourself to a new town and you don't know anyone, I would try and find some community forums, and try and find some locals that way, and just feel people out and see what everybody's all about. And
I would stash my stuff. I wouldn't walk into town fully loaded with everything I own.
Yeah.
You don't know if you don't know what you're up against, then you at the very least don't want to get robbed.
Yeah.
Or you can also look threatening. Okay, you're walking heavily armed, fucking badass, and you're like, uh-oh, let's put this guy in custody or something.
Yep, he's trouble.
Who knows? You never know what you're walking into. It's about being safe. I wouldn't enter a town straight up, unless maybe I knew what I was walking into.
I think she's saying more along the lines that, what do you do if you are in the middle of moving to a new town and you don't know anybody there?
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Went a little militaristic on you. Well, join. Okay, a good place to go is your town's social media. There's always like my town's moms or families or some kind of thing like that.
Yeah, there'll be some social media groups.
If you have kids and they go to school, you'll meet some parents and things maybe. Yeah, moving to a new place is always a little weird.
Yeah, it's very tough. Very tough. Driver, I hate to say it, but fill the gas tank up and drive around the area and get a feel for where you are and what's around you.
What you can maybe expect as far as a vibe from your neighbors and people.
Correct. Yeah, you get an overall vibe when you're out and about. So explore as much as possible while things are still great, and find the bad spots, find the good spots. That's the best advice that I have for you, Gizmo. I'm sorry, I wish I had more.
Well, good luck with your move.
Ronnie Braun says in Wisconsin they shut down a lot of the protesting by shutting down the highways and nobody could arrive. He says here in Wisconsin they watched Facebook and then they shut down the highways before anybody could arrive. Wow. Is that for the trucker protest, Ronnie?
I've noticed those, what do they call that area up there? Like, Minnesota, Wisconsin, like the Upper Peninsula.
Yeah, the Great Lakes area.
Fucking fascists out that way, sort of.
There's some.
God,
there's
dang old screensaver popping up.
Yeah, the tactics are getting interesting. You're welcome, Gizmo World. I'm sorry I didn't have more for you. It's tough moving to a new place and getting to know new people. That's not a very easy thing.
Hang on to your old contacts as well. I mean, I'm sure you would.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, you always go back to what's familiar to us. We find that a lot of people do that. They'll move away, but then they always kind of come back home at some point. There's definitely a draw to familiarity for people. So, but yeah, guys, things are not looking so great, and
we're all holding our breath out here. And like I said, I want to revisit. Can I revisit the whole
sure.
What did I call it? Crisis exhaustion.
Yeah.
Take a break from the computers and the headlines and the bullshit for a minute. Go talk to your wife. Go fucking play with your kids. Jam out on your Xbox. Play your guitar.
Yep.
Fix something in your garage. Just forget the bullshit for a minute. Like, bombs aren't going off outside. I don't hear any gunfire in the streets. America is safe as it could be at this point, right?
Yeah, for as crazy as things are.
Let's all take a breath and you fucking, whatever everything's gonna be, it's okay for right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I've found that it's best not to stress over things that we don't have control over, because you can literally drive yourself into anxiety attacks over this shit. So it's important to unplug. It's important to keep focused on family and friends, and keep a good mindset, guys, because things could get pretty crummy pretty fast, and enjoy the times we have right now, because it's pretty crazy. So the more you scroll through the headlines, the crazier it gets.
It's overwhelming, all of it.
Coach Doug says, go fishing. The ice is a little bit unstable at the moment, but I've been thinking about it, bro. I've been thinking about it. I got to go drill a hole in the ice to go fishing right now. So
we're in the middle. I mean, somewhat depending on the lake, the ice is either thick or it's not, a little slushy on top.
Yeah. Prep the mind as well.
That's right.
Exactly, Keith. Exactly. Thank you, Darren. I appreciate it.
That being said, prep the mind as well. And imagine not having all this information. It's just black screens. It's all gone.
Yep. Then what? What do you focus on then? Because in the blink of an eye, they can take all this away from us, and then we're just left with each other. And the real physical world, the virtual world, could disappear any minute, guys. So prepare for it. Make sure you've got real things.
Everything involving you in this live stream right now depends on electricity.
Correct.
And without it, none of it happens.
Yep. So I definitely was wrong in my last live stream. I didn't think that Russia was really going to do this. Even the Ukraine didn't think Russia was really going to do this. They were...
we thought they were going to bark a whole bunch and then
back off.
Home. Yeah.
And they called everybody's bluff, guys. So it looks like everything's on the table here. Nightfall would be even more chaotic. Correct, Lady Smith. Yeah, nighttime would not be good if the grid goes down. When my daughter was born, ages ago, we lost the power grid here in New York for 3 or 4 days. And I was kind of unaware of it because I was in the hospital.
Fell in it in New Jersey.
I've heard so many stories about it, but
that was crazy, man. I was in my car driving, and every radio station was like, psh! It was like, what the fuck happened? We thought the terrorists hit us again.
Yep. Can't do shit with the power out. Wife uses electric wheelchair, power bed, etc. Ooh, I hope you have backup plans, William. Generators. That's going to be a big thing for you. And if not, we'll see what we can do to rally the community to make sure you have something. So keep in touch, my friend. Keep in touch.
It's kind of an extreme form. They want you to be energy independent, we always call it.
Dependent.
Energy independent. Take that a wild step further. You have to be energy independent in your own right, without dependence on the grid. However, again, and then there's a billion ways to do it.
Yeah.
But however, if you are dependent on electricity for sure, you got to figure out a way to be able to do it yourself.
Prepping Mantis, you are right on the money. If you woke up with no power, no preps, no skills, and no plan, this would be the case for many people. And unfortunately, you're right. And that's a big part of the reason why I started this channel, is because I knew that there was a lot of people who haven't prepared. I'm nobody, guys. I'm a carpenter from upstate New York who dabbles in this stuff and enjoys it. And I just try to share what I know and my experiences with you guys. And, you know, there's 41 of you here right now, and I appreciate every single one of you for being here.
Excuse me.
I really
Can you
do.
acknowledge them too,
Oh,
please?
I'm so sorry. We got 3 people on the
There's
Facebook live
45
stream.
of you here.
Correct.
45
Correct. I
of you
am.
here.
Black Apple says he lives right next to Indian Point. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What? What are
That
you
he
sorry
li-
about?
Well, that he lives next to Indian Point.
Maybe he gets good rent. You get the potassium pills too, right? They just give them to you in the mail or something.
Any pharmacy around there. I think it's a 10-mile radius of Indian Point. You can pick up their K1 pills.
Now, what I want you to do, Mister, who is that?
Black Apple.
Black Apple. What I want you to do is, if you haven't already, then is go to the pharmacy like tomorrow, and get these iodine pills, because you don't want to be like, it's fucking melting down, and you and 100,000 other people are online to get them. If they let you have them now, get them now.
Mr. Fister, what's happening, buddy? How are you? Thanks for stopping by.
Hell of a name you got there.
Yeah.
I see you got a profile picture. You got OnlyFans?
Coach Doug says they have a saying in the infantry that's drilled into us from day one: basics. Stay alert, stay alive.
Black Apple, like I said, I don't know if you can just walk in and get these things without a
Yes.
but if you can,
Yes, you don't need a prescription if you live close to.
do it now. You don't want to be
nuclear facility.
online for them when a crisis is happening.
Yeah, that's in like Oswego, New York. There's a nuclear facility there too. So I know most of the pharmacies around that area have K1 pills as well. So if you're in Western New York, you can still pick them up there. 90% of the world, if not more, isn't prepared. So if you guys are prepped up any at all, you're doing better than most. Keith, that's great advice. A lot of people get down on themselves because they're like, I only have this. But your only this is so much more than most people have. That's huge, guys. Something is always better than nothing.
Do you remember? All right, no, like I was thinking about this about like tools. Okay. I'm a handyman, I guess, Guy Friday, Mr. Fix-It type of thing.
Yep.
So I have all these cool like tools now after years and years of doing what I've been doing. I got all these cool fucking things, you know, the tool to do the job. Let me get that certain screwdriver and do the thing. I didn't always have that. And when I look back, I still always managed to do the job. Maybe it was a little more difficult.
Right.
Or I had to use my head a little bit more and be clever.
Yeah.
But I didn't always need the latest and greatest and most high-tech and fucking killer shit.
No, you can get by with much less.
And it's always in the back of my mind that like I used to do my job with like
much less than you have now.
Yeah, and you know, you keep that in mind as you're building up all this gear and stuff. You want your kit to evolve. You need to test your stuff and find out what works, what doesn't, what's junk, what you like, what is easy, all that. And make your kit dope. But always remember that, metaphorically, a hammer and a screwdriver, and you're good.
Yeah, you can get pretty far. You can get pretty far with basic tools, guys. Michelle the Great, Albany, New York. I went to a pharmacy. The man was rude when I asked for potassium iodide pills. The question is, did you get them? I don't know that many pharmacies like that have them, and if they do, they probably don't want to give them out too easy. I'm sure you still had to pay for them, but Skitham of Survival says, I'm more prepared for bugging out than in. Well, see, everybody's got a different situation, and like we were saying earlier, what works for me doesn't work for you. So if you're in a situation where you're in the big city and you want to get out ahead of time, then that's, you feel what's best for you and you have a go at it. But like we said, everybody's got a different strokes for different folks. It's huge. He says, no, they aren't available. Huh, interesting. Very interesting, actually. I know a lot of places don't carry them on the regular.
Also, or it's them damn doomsday preppers going out there every Tuesday and getting them all.
So I remember a time. When I was in the hardware stores, once upon a time, and one day there was all kinds of N95 masks all over the shelves, and the very next day they were all gone, and there was some paper signs put up. And I was very glad that I had bought them early on, because more so than for the old crisis, I use them for work because I suck in a lot of construction dust and debris. So, I try to protect myself there.
I wear a P100 respirator when I'm worried about shit like that.
Yeah, those things work great, guys. And those are typically available.
They're expensive. You don't get 100-pack of them, but if you actually want to stop like shit.
Yeah, a real respirator. And guys
the
with
ones,
beards, if you think you're gonna get away with, it's gotta go. That's kind of why I carry a little razor in my shit hit the fan bag.
Story time. Okay, so Gillette safety razors really took off during World War I because all of a sudden they were slinging all these poison gas at each other, and dudes needed to wear the fucking gas mask. And Gillette figured out a way to make these tiny little safety razors that every GI could carry in a kit. They still do to this day, and so their mask could seal.
Yep.
If you have a gas mask in your fucking kit and you have a giant Viking beard, cut the shit.
Yep.
Get rid of one or the other. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Well, at least have the means.
One or the other.
At least have the means to be able to get rid of it when the time comes.
Holy shit! It's a nuclear fallout. Hold up, babe. I gotta shave real quick. Yeah.
And it's all gone, and you guys would
I'm
even
joking,
know who I was if I didn't have this.
I'm joking, but not, because look at me. All these bearded motherfuckers are pissed. Here they come with their...
They're going to bash
He called me a remote control generator.
Sure. He says, putting the remote control generator into manual will make it more likely to survive an EMP. If you disconnect the battery from an engine or appliance, does it make it more likely to survive? Ronnie, honestly, I don't know, man.
I can tell you a couple, somewhat of a electrician.
Okay.
You can take steps to shield things from EMP. Number one, your best bet is to unplug things that aren't being used. You can shield things somewhat. Any wiring, if you put it in a conduit or even what's called MC cable, looks like a coil. It's like otherwise armored cable.
Okay. Yep.
Offers some degree of protection against an electromagnetic pulse. But the problem being with electricity is that everything that is unshielded it leaks.
Okay.
It finds its way in the most insidious ways. It'll come any way it can.
Gotcha.
So if you're not shielding everything, unplug it from the grid. You can even do stuff like put it in a potato chip bag, wrap it in tin foil.
Mylar bags, right? Any kind of
right,
Mylar
stuff
bag.
like this. But that whole process implies that you are prepared for this to happen, that you know it's going to happen.
Kill it and grill it. Hello from Nebraska. How are you, buddy? Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
I'll also add that protecting your own devices against an EMP is all well and great, but if they've nuked the electrical system with it, it doesn't matter.
Correct. Make a Faraday box. Good advice. Now I know a lot of the information that they have on EMPs is all theoretical.
They're not targetable, at least
computers.
That in the civilian allowed understanding of how these things work, they're not targetable. It happens when you set off a nuclear blast, especially in the upper atmosphere.
Right.
But it's a kind of a random effect that is somewhat predictable, but it's certainly not targetable.
Okay.
A lot of people get their idea of what EMP can do from that James Bond movie.
What's happened, Jeremy? How are you?
So in GoldenEye, they could target the whole world. What was it, Escape from LA too?
Yeah.
The Doomsday fucking satellite. It could nuke anything from a house to the whole world and shit.
Yep.
That does not exist.
No,
I promise you it doesn't.
It's a much more broad spectrum thing than that.
It's very random. Like, there will be EMP associated with atomic blasts, and in my opinion, the atomic blast and their after effects are much more significant than the EMP that comes with them.
Unless you're a full electronic country, if you EMP different parts of the world, some folks wouldn't even know what happened.
What it tends to do is...
And here, everything would fall apart instantly.
Now, a lot of people may be interested to know that lightning causes EMP all the time.
Okay.
Lightning strike within about a quarter of a mile can affect electronic devices through an electromagnetic pulse.
Gotcha.
Is what EMP stands for, everybody. An electromagnetic pulse. Say it
correct.
With me. Electromagnetic pulse. What else are they talking about?
Michelle the Great says, first thing, if war comes here, will be our satellites, then the power grid.
Yeah.
I believe you're correct. And Russia has demonstrated recently that they will blow up a satellite in space and really don't give a shit about the people in the International Space Station. So,
Sunset makes a great point here. During World War One, and most wars throughout history, I'll add, dysentery, or I'll add disease, was #1 killer among soldiers.
yep.
As soon as you are displaced from your comfort zone, you are out in the wild, you're amongst other people, deplorable conditions, so on and so forth.
Things go bad quick.
Really quick. Again, however it is you can do it, stockpiling medicine is equally important as stockpiling ammunition.
Correct. And Billy says, if and when the internet goes down, it's time to go. It's possible. It's possible. Conveniently, all Russian bombs dropped where we have biochemical labs. Overlay the maps. All points match.
I keep seeing this claim.
There's so much mis and disinformation right now. I'm just trying to collect everything and kind of try and wrap my head around it, because I believe at some point
somewhere in the last
we'll learn the truth.
Somewhere in the last I don't know, 5 days or something, like this entire amazing narrative has bloomed about Ukraine. On the one hand, you got people who are like, there's neo-Nazis and chemical labs and all this foul CIA crazy weird shit going on there. You guys, that's in Poland.
Yeah.
NATO country. You think we would station this wicked secret shit right there where the Russians could just swoop in and go ahead and have at it?
Well, there's also the biolabs in China. There's biolabs all over the world, guys. And
I don't think there's a need for us to hide any sort of biolabs in the Ukraine.
Who knows? Who knows? I'd put nothing past any of these people.
Some of these stories that are coming out are insane, and maybe we'll never probably ever really know the truth about what's going on here. Is probably the reality of it.
Yeah, it really is. And plan as much as you can.
That's it. Keep your circle tight and true.
What is a Poseidon bomb? Now, I believe that is what Russia calls their doomsday weapon. It's supposedly a tsunami-generating nuclear warhead. I believe that's. Can you take to the airwaves here, Livingston?
I actually know what this is.
Oh, he's gonna take us on a journey.
So what these are is imagine a bunker buster. You know how these work. It's a penetrator.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what this thing would do, it's a nuclear armed torpedo. You would probably fire this out of either a destroyer or a submarine. It does not go click and it makes magic tsunami happen. Tsunamis require physics to work. What this thing would do is burrow itself into the continental shelf of the ocean, deep underwater, boom, and cause a catastrophic landslide.
That would generate the tsunami.
That generates the tsunami. Now,
Gotcha.
Again, this weapon could work and is feasible, but isn't entirely targetable. You would cause massive collateral damage with a weapon.
Oh,
like
yeah.
this.
Yeah, it would devastate the world, guys.
Is it feasible and probably exist? I assume,
and that's why they call it their doomsday weapon.
Yes, Lucky Dame Preparedness nailed it. That's exactly what it is.
Yep, nuclear-powered armed torpedo.
Now, you'd be, again, maybe interested to know the United States actually paved the way for these kind of weapons in Operation Plowshare. They, from the Bible verses, they let them beat their swords into plowshares.
Okay.
What they wanted to do was prove that nuclear weapons could be used for peaceful purposes. So they wanted to use them to build artificial reservoirs through the crater that they produce, and perhaps use them to do massive construction projects like canals and stuff. And in the process, they found that they were capable of doing these sorts of things.
Interesting.
Most of what the Russians know about nuclear weapons, they straight stole from us.
I believe that. So Black Apple says it's a tsunami bomb, 2,000 plus foot tsunami waves. Now,
depends on what it burrows into.
Yeah, and I, there's a lot of factors to this. And again, guys, a lot of this information is all theoretical. Because,
if you're on YouTube when we're done here, if you want to know about how nuclear weapons work, there's a Shot Baker, it's called, where we set off an underwater detonation of a nuclear bomb, and it shows very specifically what happens when you do that. Yep. And no tsunamis were generated. A special weapon is required.
So another great tool to play with for us preppers and survivalists is the nuke map. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but you can basically take any warhead that's built or currently designed.
You get to scale your own.
Yeah, and drop it anywhere in the world you want and see what the fallout would look like given the weather conditions today. It takes everything into account. And I actually had somebody send me, actually, I think they tagged me on Instagram in a post of it. Nuke map is neat. And thanks, Lucky Dame. It's very cool, but it's also very terrifying at the same time.
It really puts things into perspective. I did a test once. I put a high yield nuclear strike directly on Manhattan.
Yep.
And still, like about 20 miles from my house was potentially within the fireball of this weapon. I live 150 miles from the city.
Yeah. So it really depends upon the yield of the warhead and what's going on. Thanks, Black Apple. I really appreciate it. We're cool as shit it. Much appreciated. That's just how we say it around here too. So yeah, nuke map is something interesting to play with, and you know, always check the wind, guys, especially if something like that is going down.
If you ever played the games Fallout, you see the guy with his thumb.
Checking the wind.
What he's doing is you point your thumb. If you see a mushroom cloud occur on the horizon, you put your thumb up to it and aim through your thumb at it. If the mushroom cloud is bigger than your thumb, you need to take cover now.
Yep, that's a good one. Arkansas Living, what's happening, brother? Another great YouTube channel here. There's a whole bunch of great channels here. Really appreciate all you guys coming out tonight, and I appreciate everybody on Facebook too.
There's the real ones over here. It's old school folks over here. I know these people.
So guys, we've been live for an hour and 11 minutes now. We're gonna let you get back to your lives, and we covered a lot of stuff. If you're joining late, rewind this bad boy and check it from the beginning. Mr. Pfister is playing Fallout 4 right now. He's gearing up.
I'm a huge fan. I love the game. I love the whole world. I love it. Listen, hit me up on Facebook or on YouTube. I love Fallout in general. If anybody wants to just talk about that.
You got a new gamer, buddy.
Michelle the Great. The Smithsonian Channel has a movie from the 50s. She's perhaps talking about this movie called Trinity and Beyond. Awesome. They show you every nuclear test and their results that we filmed. Some of these are impressive. They'll give you an idea of what, if this were to actually happen, what you could expect. Totally recommend it. Awesome movie. Just bug your wife. She's like, "Why are you watching this shit?" Babe, again with this?
So guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you. Coach Doug, nothing but love, my brother. I miss you.
My Facebook peeps, we love you guys.
Yeah, please.
Every time,
please, everybody stay safe. Prepare.
However it is, you got to do it.
Plan locally. Prepare locally.
Say hi to your neighbors.
Stay safe, everybody. I'm Mike. This is the Livingston Man. We are Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, and we will catch you, and all the rest of you on the next one. Stay safe, guys.